Hey everybody, it's me Edward Jones back with a new video. 1911s for dummies. I've read this argument online that 1911 isn't a good gun for beginners. You know, it's heavy, single stacked. The controls are complicated. It's hard to take down. You know, the recoil may be too sharp. The sights, on GI models, the sights too small. Yada 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 yada. Get a break-in period. Blah 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 blah. The first gun ever fired was 1911. The first pistol I should say that I ever fired was 1911. It was an auger ordnance with a 22 upper. And it was fun to it was fun, for a brief time I shot it. The first 45 caliber pistol I ever fired was a Glock 21, and that gun was okay. It wasn't all that comfortable in my hand. It wasn't. It was too. To me, it's too light. That's one of my complaints about Glocks. They're too light, and I guess they don't have. There's no character to it. If that makes any sense. Maybe something that 1911 owners can identify with, but just that the 1911, like this one, just it just screams character. Oh, and because we're adults, let's see. See that? Yeah, 1911 just screams, character. It has it has style. Um, yeah, it's single stack. Yeah, it's heavy. You know, yeah, the sights are like the sights. I have mine's a GI 45, and the sights may be small, but it's fun to shoot. And I've had great experience with new shooters shooting this same 1911. I had a friend from China shoot it. He liked it, and he's I think it was the first gun he's ever fired. Um, One of my friends, and this is a cool story. She never fired. I don't believe she ever fired a handgun before. I took her to the range, and I gave her my 1911, and I put a target in front of her for 5 yards. She shot she shot a group this big. She shot a group that big at 5 yards. And now she joined the National Guard. um, she actually works at a gun store too, and so she asked me if I wanted to come over, help her go to the range with her, because it's pretty cheap where she goes to shoot. And I told her, if I have the time, I'll take her up on it. Another crazy story. I just went to, one of my most recent trips to the shooting range. I was with my sister and my brother-in-law, and I brought my 357 and brought a combination of 38s and 357 Magnums, and I brought my 45 with just some it was Tula ammo, Tula, steel. It was steel. Basically, it was steel case, Russian ammo. Cool stuff. I like seeing sparks fly out the barrel when I shoot it. Anyway, they had a good time with the 357 and the 38s. My sister was out shooting her husband. I guess she was having some encouragement from that. And then I said, well, before we go, let's shoot the 45. And so I put a target up, and I let them watch me shoot it. My sister said she didn't want to shoot that gun right just as of yet because she said it threw too much evidence around, too much brass was flying in the air. She didn't want what hitting her. Um, so I took the first couple of shots. They saw, how cool and how accurate I was with it. I gave him my brother-in-law, and the issue he had with the 38 was he kept shooting. He kept shooting far to the right. He wasn't really getting consistent shots. He would shoot single action, then double action, and he wasn't very accurate for him. It was a bit little. It could have been. It wasn't too discouraging, but it was getting giving him kind of a headache. I gave him 1911. He loved it. He said everything he pointed at, he hit. And then I did a little trick shot where I put there. It was a full silhouette, and it was kind of had like it has like the eyes like this. And so I sit it down. I think it was down like 15 yards. I said I'm gonna put eyes on the paper, and I aimed, carefully aimed, and I fired, and I put a right eye. I put a right hole. I put a right eye through that little section in the silhouette. And my sister said, "All right, I gotta try it now. Let me try shooting." So, oh, now you want to try it? So anyway, she shot it. Well, she's a southpaw. My sister left-handed. First shot. Well, or before that, I took a shot for the left eye, but I was just like about an inch above where I wanted to hit. Her first shot with that pistol, she put the left eye on that target paper, and we were like, holy crap, you're natural, you're natural. They love shooting that gun the most. They said it was easy to shoot, it was accurate. It was the recoil wasn't bad. In fact, my mother, the first that's the first gun she ever fired. This this very same 1911 was, and she shot my hand loads. Um, she if I start off with one round, and my mom was, mind you, my mom was 51 at the time, and so about 2 years ago she was 51. She never shot a gun before, from up north. She wasn't really all that into firearms. Couldn't believe that I'm so heavily into firearms like I am. But she said she wanted go to the range with me. She knew something I wanted to do with her, so I gave her one. I'll let her watch me shoot. So originally we were going to shoot 22s, but they were out of 22 ammo. We were going to rent a 22 pistol. I said, well, I got my 45 and these hand loads. We can shoot that. Anyway, I shot a few rounds just so she could see how it operates. Then I gave her one round in the magazine, and she shot that, and she said it wasn't too bad. The noise was still something that she was not used to, but the first shot wasn't too bad. All right, I'm gonna give you two more rounds. And she shot two more times. I gave her 4 rounds. I gave her a full mag of 7, and she enjoyed it. She said, move. She just wanted me to move the target out a little further. I had it at 5 yards. She wanted to move up to 15, and she was hitting the target paper. Still a pattern that was a bit wide, but she enjoyed shooting it. I've had other friends. They shot the 1911, and they never shot a gun before. They liked it. They were accurate with it. They had fun shooting it. Um, it wasn't complicated to operate. Point being, 1911 is not a bad handgun for a beginner. Like I said, it was the first. Even being it was in 22 caliber, it was the first handgun I ever shot. Um, and it's not difficult to operate. It fits in most hands pretty comfortably. At least from the experience I've had with people who shot for the first time, the 1911 was, they said, was a gun that they enjoyed shooting. Another friend of mine, um, I mean, he likes shooting. He was always interested in shooting revolvers. But once I put the 1911 in his hands, he loved it. He still liked revolvers, but he said he was his best shots were done with the 1911, with the 45 ACP. And so I don't believe that, the whole thing about it being a terrible handgun for beginner shooters. I think a bunch of baloney. Sure, there are other guns out there. There are 9mm Glocks. There are guns in 40 Smith and Wesson. There are 38s. There are 380s. Which is funny that 380s. There's a big 380 craze right now, but 45 caliber is still there. Even though it's younger than the 9mm, it's very pop. It's pretty popular even nowadays. It may be more expensive to shoot, but it's a load of fun to shoot. It's as far as the recoil is concerned, 1911, the handgun's heavy enough to where the recoil is not it's not felt that much, and plus it fits in the hand pretty well. You can get different sights, different magazine capacities, even different calibers. But from my experience, 45 ACP out of a 1911 A1 like mine is not bad for beginners. So if you have friends out there, and you want to take them to the range, learn how to shoot, a 22, I will agree, a 22 is good to start off with. But but I would say don't underestimate your friend's ability. No matter how timid they, well, it's up to you to determine how their comfort level, determine whether they'd be comfortable with shooting it. But don't underestimate them in thinking that 1911 would be 45 ACP will be too heavy for them right off the start. Like I said, my mom didn't like she didn't really care for guns, but shot that 45 ACP out of 1911 A1 with and had a good time. She enjoyed doing it. She said she'd like to do it again next time she's around. In fact, that same day when we left the range, she wanted to go buy pepper spray because she was heading back to New York. And yeah, because of it's New York, she wanted to at least have something to to help herself, and she got one for my sister as well. But yeah, please share your thoughts. Do you think 1911 is too much? It's too much for beginner shooters, or do you think it's not a bad gun for people people who are new to the shooting game to get into? Is 45 ACP too powerful? Is it just right, not powerful enough? I'm pretty sure this video may start the whole 9mm versus 45 ACP or Glock versus 19 argument, just like the AK-47 versus AR-15 argument always comes up. But it's cool. It's cool for me. As long as you just keep it respectable between each other. I just think we'll all have a good time. But that's my video. 1911 is for dummies. I'm Edward Jones, and thanks for watching.